After literal years of waiting, Marvel Animations' Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is finally here. And I'm gonna come out with it and let you know how I feel about it. You guys know I am a diehard Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite superhero of all time. And I kind of have a history of being a little finicky when they make huge changes to the character. Just because I like how he's pretty much been, for the most part, these past few years. So when you make like a glaring change, it kind of throws me off a little bit. Some of that has died down after the events of No Way Home. I've been a little more open to changes and giving new interpretations of the character a shot. So I got up at 2 a.m., sat my sick butt down, and gave these first 2 episodes a shot. And I guess I could finally tell you that I think Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is pretty good. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting to. So they throw a lot at you at the very beginning of the show, so you find out, right? Uncle Ben is gone. That's something the MCU didn't really flat out say. Uncle Ben is gone. In this universe, though, he's gone before Peter becomes Spider-Man, so that's a huge change. I want you guys to look at it this way. I think that this show is a very similar alternate universe to the Tom Holland interpretation of Spider-Man. So a lot of the events that Tom Holland went through also happened in the Spider-Man and vice versa. So I'm assuming Uncle Ben in the MCU also passed away before Peter Parker became Spider-Man, which kind of makes sense as to why he learns with great power comes great responsibility in No Way Home. So it kind of checks out. I really probably should have wrote this down. I caught a ton of references as I was watching the show, but I might miss a few here in the review. I'm going to kick myself in the booty when I edit this and forget to throw something in. But I did catch at the start of the episode. Him missing the train seemed to be a bit of a reference to him missing the bus in the first episode of... first episode. In the first Sam Raimi movie. That's what I meant to say. I also heard Henry Jackman's Spider-Man theme from Captain America Civil War Return. What a deep cut. A lot of people don't talk about that. Black Panther and Spider-Man had different themes in Civil War that didn't return for their solo films. Spider-Man's theme from 2016 Civil War is back. Very awesome reference. I love that theme. Doesn't get nearly enough talk. But anyway, fast forward. Aunt May is dropping Peter off at school, and a portal opens, and there's an alternate universe version of Doctor Strange fighting Venom or whatever. And a whole bunch of stuff is happening here, right? A spider drops out of the portal, and that spider ends up biting Peter Parker on the neck, reference to Andrew Garfield, and that's how he becomes Spider-Man. While he's getting bit on the neck, by the way, he's meeting Nico from The Runaways, who is going to serve as Peter Parker's best friend in this universe, which I thought was an odd choice when I heard it 4 years ago or something, but it actually really works. I love their dynamic. I love them as best friends. Their chemistry is on point. Yeah, I'm here for it. It works for me a lot more than I thought it would. I know that origin also sounded super convoluted. I just kind of brushed over that. I thought it sounded pretty convoluted too when I heard about it during, I think it was D23 that they showed it off. I thought it sounded very odd. Seeing it in the episode, it's different. And it's a lot to kind of digest, but it's fine. It didn't bother me like I thought it would. It's fine. Whatever. He got bit by the spider. He got his powers. Also, let me say this before I forget. The intro. I like it. I like it a lot. I thought the theme song, when I heard it in the trailer, I was like, it's something. But, you know, I was kind of rocking out to it a little bit this morning, and I can't lie. And I like the animation for the intro a lot. So yeah, I said a lot, because this start of the episode is a lot. It's a lot to kind of process. But I gotta say, as the episode went on more and more and more, I found myself liking it more and more and more. Yes, it's very different in a lot of different ways, but there's still the core of the character there. And there are aspects to it that I found myself really enjoying. Part of me wants to be a little vague, just to make sure that you enjoyed the episode for yourself, so I'm not going to spoil absolutely every single thing that happens in the first and second episode, including Easter eggs. I think that's going to be the way that I can give myself a pass or an excuse for not mentioning an Easter egg that I fully saw in the episode but forgot to mention in this video, so you can't call me out for it because I'm going to use the excuse that I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm smart, right? But one character that really stood out to me that I was very surprised by and I wasn't expecting to latch onto as much as I thought I would is Alani Lincoln. Now, if you know anything about the comics, you know who that character becomes. If you don't know, I'm not going to say it here. But the path they're kind of setting up with him, they're putting him in a place where he's so likable. Like, I don't know. He's infectious. I loved his chemistry with Peter. I loved the way he presented himself. And then kind of seeing more of his home life. Like, I don't know. It was very real. And I could feel that going to a very serious place if they play their cards right. And if it's going to that more comic book, history of the character at some point, that's That's gonna wreck me, dude. I'm leaving it at that, but I wanted to mention that. Loved Lonnie. I don't know. That threw me off. Dude, he might have been my favorite character, if I'm really thinking about it. Was he? Was he my favorite? I don't know. That just shocked me. I wanted to mention that here. Another moment that I really loved, if we're just keeping it to the first episode specifically, towards the end, there's a scene where Spider-Man, he's out stopping crime and all this stuff, but it doesn't end in the generic way that you think, where he's like, oh, I stopped the bad guy, he's getting locked up and caught by the cops. No, he has like a conversation with the person that this lady stole from. Is like, hey, she was down on her luck. She didn't have too many other options, or she didn't see too many other options. She just did this, right? To finding out. She was at a low point. Can you maybe let her go? Like, she was crying and everything. And then the dude was like, you know what? Let her go this one time. That was awesome. Can I say that? That felt like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, not all of the stuff and the crime that he stops is going to end up the generic way, right? Like that, some people, that's their situation. And I've never seen anything highlighted like that in that light, that real. I don't know, man. They did a lot of stuff in this first episode that, yes, while different, really struck a chord with me. And I was really impressed with. The second episode seemed to do more for like setting up the future of the season. At the end of the first episode, we really get the introduction to Norman Osborn, who's in the place of where Tony Stark was in Civil War when he recruits Peter. He recruits him at the start of the episode, or the second episode. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. He recruits him at the start of the second episode. And as the title suggests, this is where the Parker luck comes into play. Later in the episode, there's a football game going on. Lonnie invites them to a party, and Nico's like, hey, we're going to this party. And Peter's like, okay, I'll be there, but everything with Oscorp kind of gets in the way. Also, he had to go stop a fire, which I believe was a reference to the Raimi film, when Goblin lured Peter to the burning building, making him think an old lady was in there. Maybe I'm reaching there, I don't know. Also, the second episode introduces us to, him becoming an Oscorp intern and some of the other interns there. So we meet Amadeus Cho. We got some girl from Wakanda and someone else named Jean. And then the person that's kind of like leading the whole thing with that group, Mr. Whitman, I believe. I don't know if they called him Bentley. I think he's Wizard. I don't remember if they said his first name, but I'm just going based on the last name. And it seems like every single character in here, if you hear a name that sounds familiar to a comic name, 9 times out of 10, that's how it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to assume that's supposed to be the Wizard. Oh, and we also have a Dr. Connors here, which is a very different interpretation of the character. And I'm sure nobody's going to be mad about that at all. Guys, she was fine. Please don't make a big deal out of this. Please, I'm begging you. One last thing before I forget. I just remembered. I know this is horrible structure. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of the first episode. That's Spider-Bite. After the spider bit Peter, I don't think it died. I think I saw it crawl into somebody's backpack. We might get Silk or Miles. I was thinking Silk because, normally she gets the spider bite after Peter, but they've changed so much. Who knows who's going to get bitten? I don't know. It could be Silk, whatever. I think that spider bit somebody else. That's my theory. Anyway, let's close this out. I thought Peter in this was pretty cool. The trailers had me worried, but I don't know. He's just a sweet kid. He's a lovable character. I really like him so far, despite being very different from his comic counterpart. He's very awkward, but not to the point of annoyance. I love the chemistry between the characters. Harry doesn't seem like he's going to have too big of a role to play in Peter's life, at least not yet. It seems like Nico's taking that place. Peter's love interest, quote unquote, this season is his ex-babysitter. That was pretty funny. And yeah, man, it's a feel-good show, man. It's wholesome. I found myself smiling way more than I was expecting. And one thing to kind of ease your mind if you're worried about all the changes at X, Y, and Z, if you're kind of going into this a little worried, I feel like the changes made here are not changes made for people who hate Spider-Man and thinks he needs to be changed to be interesting, but I feel like these are changes made by people who love and respect the history of the character and just wanted to shake the box up a little bit to give something fresh and new. That doesn't mean it's going to be for everybody, but I do get the sense that it was done with the best of intentions. So with that, that's how I feel about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I think I'm going to stick with it. We're going to see these next few weeks how the show plays out. Let me know how you felt about it down in the comments below. If you haven't seen it yet, please check it out and we'll have a discussion about it. You guys take it easy and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm taking my booty back to bed. Deuces. Geekily out. You get it? You get the reference? Never mind. Bye.